Hello, Dave Jones. Ooh, I really like this video. How not to argue with an atheist. Cause I mean, I believe in God and all that, and that's just me. I mean, I honestly feel that it's worthless to try to argue with other people and try to convince them to believe in God. And I also understand that if someone doesn't believe in God, God does not affect their lives. And so, I mean, yeah, it's just like I believe in it, and I mean, even I'm not sure, but choose to believe in God. But I think that's besides the point because, I've talked to so many Christians, and I mean, I'm not here to say all Christians are idiots, but many that are, defending Christianity so strongly just are kind of idiots. Like they honestly think that just because something's in a book that was written 2009 or whatever years ago, that was written point a long time ago, is just correct because it is because God wrote it, and it's really dumb the way they would respond to any argument against their religion. And I have gotten all of that. I've been told I'm going to hell. I have been told that I'm ridiculous, that I'm disrespecting their religion. Um, I've been completely ignored when trying to talk to somebody such as Pastor Jer or Woods of Jordan. But they don't like logic, so that really doesn't surprise me. So I've really gotten a lot of those arguments, simply just even though I do believe in God. And my concept of God, I cannot prove God to you. And I also understand that God cannot be proven or disproven, so technically I'm agnostic also. But I think my concept of God is if you believe in God, then things will appear that would seem to be from God, which to the atheist would seem to be a coincidence. And things that would seem to be, you know, to from God to a believer is just a coincidence to the atheists. So really, we're all right. We're both right, but I don't know. It's just ridiculous the way people like to respond to the comments or arguments of atheists. Now, what I don't believe atheists should do is try to go around convincing everybody that atheism is right. And because there's a difference between just, responding to arguments and just, antagonizing. But, if somebody's rallying against something or rallying for their church, I think somebody's in a perfect position to, argue against their religion. That's what I do whenever somebody tries to say, something about gay marriage because of their church, and then I'll just respond about something related to how ridiculous their church is, and I'll also bring up the separation of church and state, which it seems like is just dying. But I guess I'm kind of rambling here. But I guess the point is, you're right. That's not how you argue with an atheist. They have critical thinking. I think sometimes the best thing to do sometimes is just to accept that what, it comes down to faith. I'm not going to tell you to have faith, and so it's just really kind of an agree to disagree thing. And I tend to do that with atheists, and if an atheist comes at me for believing in God, I just tell them, well, hey, I think about it myself. I don't need scientific proof. It's just what I believe based on my personal experiences, and you really shouldn't be targeting me. You should be targeting these big churches that are controlling, that are controlling everybody, that are discriminating, that are supporting bigotry. So that's just the way I see it on that particular topic, on the topic of my atheists that I talk to about it. And I'm willing to discuss my belief in God, but because I don't run away from arguments, but I am willing to admit I'm not going to be able to find physical evidence. I'm not going to convince any atheist to believe in God. I'm just not going to do it. And I respect that they have the right to not believe in God. and their critical thinking I have a lot of respect for also. So, yeah. And by the way, Christians, if you're watching this, you need to stop insulting people. When you come at somebody, damn them to hell, tell them, you're a spawn of the devil, blah blah blah. You make See, it's people like that. It's those sort of attitude that made me leave Christianity in the first place. That, and I basically had to choose between being a free thinker and being a Christian, and being me, I had to choose to be a free thinker. But but yeah, when you insult people, even Christians, okay, I have a lot of respect for most religious people. When you insult people, I know I was raised in Christianity. You are going against your religion. You're going against everything you believe in. And you are a hypocrite if you insult people and you're religious for not believing in what you do. Now, I'm sure there are lots of verses that can prove you wrong, and that's right. Christians, stop quoting the darn Bible. We're tired of it. You can come up with a logical argument for what you believe in, fine. But a book that was written thousands of years ago isn't going to convince us of anything. Your circular logic is worth nothing. So if you come up with a good argument, then fine, let us know about it. But otherwise, we're not going to believe. We're not going to fear your hell. We're not going to, want to get into heaven because we don't believe in it. I believe in an afterlife, but heaven and hell is one of the most ridiculous afterlife theories that I've ever heard. So, yeah, we're not going to believe it. He's not going to believe it. The atheists aren't going to believe it. The agnostics aren't going to believe it. The free thinkers aren't going to believe it. So just stop, seriously. Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you have control over the country and are making everybody follow your beliefs. So, yeah, great video, and you're right, that's definitely the wrong way to argue with an atheist. Peace.